Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram
Naram
Chaiva
Chaiva
Narottamam
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim
Devim
Saraswati
Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jayam Udirayet
Tato
Tato Jayam
Jayam
Udiraye
Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu
Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Bhagavate
Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki
Bhaktir
Bhaktir
Bhavati
Bhavati Naistiki
Invatam Swakatah Krishna
Sravatam
Srimvatam Swakatha Krishna
Yashravana Kirtana
Punyashravana
Punyashravana
Kirtana
Kirtana
Yantasto Hya Bhadrani
Hridam
Tasto
Punyani
Hyabhadrani
Dhunote Sahrit Satam
Vidhunoti
Noti Suhristatam
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki
Devaki
Nandanaya
Nandanaya
Cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa
Kumaraya
Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining, even though it's a weekday. So we started last time we met, we began the chapter 17, and we covered up to 16 verses. So in this section, we discussed that Parikshit Maharaj was wandering over the city, and he finds one man who is a Sudra, but dressed like a king, and he was beating cows and bull. And what is he beating with? He is beating them with a club. And the bull has only one leg because he has already broken 3 legs. And the cow is in tears. It's very lamentable situation is there. So Parikshit Maharaj immediately asked or said very loudly that who in the absence of Lord Krishna and Arjuna are doing this heinous act, and whoever it is, they deserve to yeah. So whoever it is, they will be deserved to killed. That's what Parikshit Maharaj declares. And then he inquires the cow and bull as to what was the fate of them, why they were being harassed like that. So he inquires whether actually the cow and bull, cow is who? Who is cow? Cow represents who in this?
Mother of
Dharan.
Bull represents
Dharma.
Dharma. Dharma and Dharani. Dharani is earth. Dharma is personification of religion. So they were there. So he was inquiring, he was making a lot of questions as to why, are you actually a demigod? Is a question by Parikshit Maharaj. And he assured that as a king, he is the protector of not only human beings, but all the living entities in his kingdom. So that is how a ruler should be in this world. Ruler should not be only ruler for human beings. He should also take care of all the innocent animals like cows and bulls. And and he inquires, who cut your 3 legs? And I will punish them, even if he's a demigod. That is like a kshatriya. It doesn't matter who the other person is. If he has done wrong, he will take the he has to be punished. So that's the spirit of kshatriya. So the duty of a king is to protect those who follow scriptures and punish who deviate from scripture. Here this Sudra person, the low class Sudra who dressed up like a king, he is actually punishing cow and bull, who are the protectors of dharma. So they should be immediately punished. So now we'll cover the 17 verse onwards. So he made a lot of inquiries, Parikshit Maharaj, and those will be answered now. Dharma is actually who? Cow?
Cow.
No, bull.
Bull.
Dharma is bull, right? Yeah.
Dharma.
Yeah. You're saying something?
Dharini is earth.
Dharani is earth, yeah. Dharani and Dharma. So Dharma uvacha.
Dharma uvacha.
Dharma uvacha.
Etadva pandaveyanam.
Tadva pandaveyanam.
Yuktam artha bhayam vacha.
Yuktam
Artha
bhayam
bhayam
vacha.
Yesham gunaganaik Krishna.
Yesham
Gunaganai Krishna.
Mutyadau Bhagavan Krita.
Dautyadau Bhagavan Kritaha.
Yeah, please read.
The personality of religion said, "These words just spoken by you befit a person of Pandav dynasty, captivated by the devotional qualities of Pandavas. Even the Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, performed duties as messenger."
So Dharma, the personification of religion, he immediately recognized, based on the words of Parikshit Maharaj, he immediately recognized, you must be belonging to Pandava dynasty, because his devotional qualities are immediately visible in the conversation. He said, just because Lord Krishna and Arjuna left the world, you cannot perform actions like this. That is the words he used in the past. So that is a personality of religion. Dharma immediately recognized this person must be a great devotee. And Pandava dynasty is full of devotees. Captivated by the devotional qualities of Pandavas, even Lord Krishna himself performed duties as a messenger. We all know. Because why Lord performs service to such devotees? Lord is even willing to do service to such devotees. Why? Any answers that you think of?
Loving exchange
Loving
with the Lord and devotees.
Yeah, that is true. It's because especially the devotees who are very, very who are in the in the last chapter we discussed, the devotees of Pandava dynasty, most of them, like Draupadi or Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj, they are very, very malleable to the desire of Lord. Lord uses them to perform whatever duties he wanted to accomplish within this world. He wanted to teach the world the knowledge of Gita. And Arjuna was a malleable instrument in that process. So Arjuna was bewildered instead of his being, knowing all the, Rajadharma, and he became the instrument in delivering the wisdom of Gita. Similarly, Yudhishthira Maharaj gets bewildered. So Lord does all these pastimes with his intimate devotees. So intimate devotees play according to the desire of the Lord, and Lord also plays according to the desire of the. So Lord is also reciprocates with them equally, and he is ready to do any service for them. So that is the that even Dharma knows. Even Lord himself became a messenger for messenger. He became a messenger. He became Parthasarathi, the driver of the chariot. And to his dear devotees like Sudama, he even washes the feet, right? So the Lord does not mind serving his devotees, even their, washing their feet. Please read, Prabhu.
The Pandavas, by their unalloyed devotional service and full surrender unto the Lord, made it possible for the Lord to become a chariot driver or sometimes their later messenger. Such duties executed by the Lord for his devotee are always very pleasing to the Lord, because the Lord wants to render service to his unalloyed devotee, whose life has no other engagement than to serve the Lord with full love and devotion. Maharaj Parikshit, grandson of Arjun, the celebrated friendly servitor of the Lord, was a pure devotee of the Lord, like his grandfather. And therefore, the Lord was always with him, even from the time when he was helplessly lying in the womb of his mother and was attacked by a blazing Brahmastra weapon of Ashwatthama. A devotee is always under the protection of the Lord, and the Lord is always with him. Therefore, the devotee is always under the protection of the Lord.
Haribol Prabhu, I'm not able to hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just lost internet for a
Yes,
second.
yes.
Yeah, so this is the important line. A devotee is always under the protection of the Lord. So pure devotees is in the divine potency of the Lord. And therefore, the assurance of protection by Maharaj Parikshit could never be without meaning. So even when a great devotee promises, Lord will abide by it, right? That's why we seek blessings of devotees. Why? If the devotee blesses, Lord is also obliged to fulfill the blessing. Isn't it? From this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
For example, Arjuna declared, I'll kill what is his name? Dustajumna. No. Yeah, Dustajumna.
No, Prabhu.
No.
Jayadratha.
Jayadratha. Yeah. Lord, no, Arjuna just made a promise, and Lord has to think about, plan it the whole night.
Yes,
So it's like that. Devotee, so Lord will never circumvent the devotee's promises.
yes.
For example, even when Brahma gave the boon to Hiranyakashipu, Lord did not violate that. Sometimes he violates his promises. He promises, I will not fight. But he will not violate his devotee's promise. So that's why he asked Arjuna, go and boldly declare that my devotee will never perish. Kaunteya pratijanehi name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. So that is the assurance of the Lord. Yeah. So if devotee assures, then Lord will definitely protect.
Yeah, I think few classes back also we talked about how the Brahmana was losing child and the Arjuna said he will protect. Yeah,
Yes,
so
Prabhu.
then Brahmana loses and then Krishna then comes and he interferes to solve the problem.
Yeah, that's true. Navayam klesha bhijani
Navayam
Yatashu Purusharshabha
Yatasyo Purushashabha
Purusham Tam Vijanimo
Purusham tam
Vijanimo
Vakyaveda Vimohita.
Vakyaveda
Vimohita.
Vimohitaha.
Yeah, you see, Dharma is very intelligent person, right? Dharma is like demigod of religion. So he answers very intelligently. Please read.
O greatest among human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our sufferings, because we are bewildered by all the different opinions of theoretical philosophers.
So if there is something that happens to anybody, or to you, for example, to me, Klesha Bijani, the root cause of that suffering, there are so many opinions on what that root cause is. There is that immediate cause. You can say that person has caused me suffering. But actually that person, you can also say, that person is an immediate cause. He is not the real cause. The real cause could be your own sanchit karma that is due upon you from the past. So in this way, like karma, you cannot ascertain to the immediate cause only, right? Ultimately, what is the cause of our suffering?
Our previous life karmic back.
Yeah. And that happens, that karma comes to you by, does Lord sanction it?
Yes.
Lord has to sanction it, right? So is God the ultimate cause?
We are the cause, but yes, God is the ultimate.
Yeah, actually, God, you can say, is the ultimate cause, but generally when it comes upon you, it is for your good.
Yes.
Because as a loving father, he cannot give you something that is not good for you. Right? So you can say God is the ultimate cause, but we get it only for our own benefit. We need to see that way. So if my plan doesn't work, I have a plan, I want to achieve something, I don't get it, it means that God's plan is different for us. It's not that God did not give. God has a better plan. And because he's a loving father, he must have a better plan for us. So that is the real understanding. That is how a devotee understands, and that is the truth also. We know from Bhagavad Gita. Upadrishta Anumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. Right? He is the overseer, permitter, and he is the loving father. Right? Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara is the Supreme Lord too. Yeah. Yeah.
There are many theoretical philosophers in the world who put forward their own theories of cause and effect, especially about the cause of suffering and its effect on different living beings.
So the reason why Prabhupada talked about this is, especially in Kali Yuga, there is always confusion what is the real cause. There are, and if you check the philosophers, there are several philosophers like Kannada, Vaisheshika, Kannada, Patanjali, Jaimini, Kapila, Vyasadeva, and each of them have given different causes for why something happens. Right? So these are the Satsandarbhas, and they have explained the conclusions of Vedas as per their philosophy. The ultimate understanding is Vedanta Darshan, which is given by Vyasadeva. So, especially in Kali Yuga, people are confused. People don't know what is the real cause, right? So they blame immediate cause mostly. Please read.
According to the Padma Purana, our present trouble is due to the fructifying of seedling sins. But even those seedling sins also gradually fade away by execution of pure devotional service. Thus, even if the devotees see the mischief mongers, they do not accuse them for the sufferings inflicted. They take it for granted that the mischief monger is made to act by some indirect cause, and therefore they tolerate the sufferings, thinking them to be God-given in small doses, for otherwise the suffering should have been greater.
So there is the famous Tattenu Kampam Sushumikshumanam verse, right? Tattenu Kampam Sushumikshumana Munjana Evatmakritam Vipakam Ridva Vapubir Vidadan Namaste Jive Tayo Mukti Pade Sadhayavak. So, my dear Lord, one who earnestly awaits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So, a devotee acts in this way. Whatever comes upon him, he treats it as causeless mercy, right? Good or bad, he doesn't treat, because whatever is given is by the Lord's, supreme mercy, right? Causeless mercy. And whether I'm happy with that what God has given, or I'm suffering with what God has given, that is not his main consideration. Whatever is given, I will make the best use of it, right? And in all situations, he's always very respectfully praying to the Lord and depending on the Lord, right? Through his words, through his heart and his body. Right? If somebody can do that, right, you can clearly know he is not bound by this material world anymore. He's already liberated. Right? It is his rightful claim, because he's not in the dualities of this world. He's not suffering in the dualities of this world. He has full faith in the protection of the Lord. Right? So he treats everything as causeless mercy of the Lord. So that is the state of consciousness we all should aspire as a fledgling devotees. We should all aspire to that consciousness where we treat everything that happens in our life as causeless mercy upon us by the Lord.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, many a times, when we are talking to the devotees who are still naive in Krishna conscious, they say, oh, I entered this movement, it has been a year, but the last 1 year has not been really good. I think I was better off worshipping Shiva, Ganesha, or other demigods. It looks like, Krishna wants to take away things from me. I am not really doing that very great when compared to me worshipping Sai Baba or Shiva. And they give you all the reasons. They keep telling, no, this happened with me at that point in time, but now I am in a bad shape. So how do you console them, and what is the advice we can give to them?
So we should tell them we are our own cause of suffering or happiness. Nobody else is responsible for it. Just because, it's not because of demigods, it's only because of his karma he was happy or sad in the past. In fact, by taking shelter of the Lord, if suppose it's like this, right? If I am if I am with my father, will I be happier or not? It depends on what I'm in, right? So if I have a troubling situation in my own life, even though I'm with my father, being with my father will only help me console in a better way and get the help from father but my own karma will actually determine how much happy and how much sad I am, right? Whether I'm with my father or with my uncle, my own karma, uncle is demigods and father is Krishna, right? It's not that Krishna is making you suffer, ever, never. It's never like that. We only suffer our karma. Krishna, in fact, helps in reducing the pain or suffering, right? As you and you gain the strength to the tools to actually face the world much better, right? So I mean, even Arjuna was bewildered. When he was bewildered, he got the shelter. Suppose if Lord is not there, what would be his condition, right? No other demigod could have given such guidance to him. And Lord or his devotees would guide the devotee, or the fledgling devotee, right? So he has to have the faith and take shelter of the Lord. Just tell that Lord is not going to increase your suffering at any cost. It is only it's on our doing. Nobody is responsible. The tendency of human being is to put the responsibility on the other person, right? They don't accept their mistake. First thing is, as a basic, we should take responsibility for what we are and what we are going through, right? If you think about the suffering you have, generally only we can, lot of suffering in our life we can map to our own past actions, or it's very easy, but people think that, okay, my material life would be better by this, by taking this Krishna consciousness. Or you cannot, it's Krishna consciousness is not for improving your material life. Material life may improve as a side effect of your Krishna consciousness, as a shadow result, but it's not the prime result. It's not going to affect, Krishna is not going to change your karmic cycle just like that. Your level of surrender determines how much Krishna will intervene in your life, right? Most likely, individuals don't really have that, taking shelter mentality in the beginning, and they think like, okay, I need to fulfill my desires, and I'm with this demigod. I'm happier than this. If basically it's passing the blame kind of attitude, right? But we cannot tell them that you're just trying to pass the blame. Just tell them, chant Hare Krishna. At least chanting Hare Krishna is a tool that helps them to calm their mind in tough times. So tell them, make them eat prasadam, and in fact, actually, Krishna helps them to helps to reduce the suffering. From the, so that's why we say, no, samsara dava nalalita loka. The material world is like forest fire. Nobody is peaceful at any point in time, and we get different doses based on our karma at different points in time, right? And sometimes it is very troubling, sometimes it is soothing, right? The main thing is we have to take shelter of the Lord continuously. That is our test. We cannot keep on changing. He's like asking, like, I want to shop the God that will shelter me. Or I'm shopping, I just shopped Shiva and now I'm trying Krishna and seeing whether whether it'll work out better. Yeah, it's not a business deal with your father. Ask him to study Gita, and if it makes sense, Krishna says this, you're Atma, you're not this body. And the material world is for suffering, and it's a place for you to think whether you are in the right place or not. It's not a place to make you comfortable, and that's not what Krishna is teaching. You should tell all of that. Main thing is people don't understand the fundamentals. They come to worship of God just like thinking, I'll improve my material life. That's never the, especially Krishna consciousness is not for that. Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely, Prabhu. Very valid points. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
So I have a couple points, yes, if you allow me to.
Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
So Prabhu, I heard one of the lecture, I mean, you explained so beautifully. Just want to add a couple of the lecture points that I heard from one of the Prabhu is Radha Gopinath Prabhu from Chopadi temple. He was giving an analogy of the room with the full of dust. When you chant Krishna's name, you are basically opening the window and trying to broom and then when you do it, the dust goes into the air and you feel that everything is just diluted. And there is the issues like, oh my God, it was so settled everything, and now I'm chanting Krishna's name and I'm seeing basically you're cleaning your heart, cleaning your karmic reaction by chanting the name. And you will see the initially the trouble, but this is all for good. And second one point was, Prabhupada mentions that when you chant Krishna's name, it's kind of basically a karma activity. So a karma burns your bad karma and good karmas both. But Krishna is so merciful, he starts burning your good karmas, so that while bad karmas, you will still remember him and try to be very close to him. So that's where people start feeling that more pain and suffering, and that is actually the blessing of Krishna.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Thank you. Especially the first point you mentioned. Yeah, if you are chanting, it's like cleaning your heart, and when you clean your house, or you'll see more dust. So there is immediately little more pain, right? But a lot of these people, they are not yet chanting. They're just they're just trying out the things in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, bro.
Our consciousness should be more to think on the lines of Kunti Maharani. She has always told that, give me more pain so that I always remember you.
Yeah, but we should not ask, because we may not be really ready for it.
Right.
You don't need to ask. We already have enough in Kali Yuga.
Yes.
Yes. Bro.
Everybody is agreeing to it.
Actually, we are scared to ask, to be very honest. At least I am scared to ask.
Yeah, that's true. We don't need to ask separately. Yeah. Krishna knows how much to give to each person, and he will make sure, he does not give enough, so much suffering that we'll run away from Krishna, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people have this mentality, Prabhu, of, they'll hit some lottery by coming to temple regularly and all that, or doing service and all that. But it's a lottery, actually. If you do it sincerely in a different way, it's a lottery. Spiritual way, it's a lottery. It's not a material lottery, but, maybe like side effects, as you said, right? You can get some material gains also initially.
Yeah. Actually, pure devotion service is only can be done by real devotion service can be done by a person purified of his, the entire karmic background. Tesham tva antagatam prapam jananam punya karmanam. Te dvanda moha nirmukto bhajante mam dhadavrata. If somebody is steadily chanting every day at regular interval, and performing devotion service very sincerely, that is not just anybody and everybody can do it. That is a boon, and that person has cleared all his negative karma already. Okay, so it's a gradual process. And how the devotees who are initiated are able to consistently perform, it is because their karma was put on hold. As long as they are practicing the devotion service, following the instruction of Guru, the Guru actually holds the karma for them. As iron bar, he just holds the karma. And as soon as the devotee deviates in the path, little bit of karma affects him. So that is how we are able to perform devotion service. Otherwise, we have no qualification to perform the bhakti. It is a privilege.
Just on a lighter note, Prabhuji, what happens is initially when devotees, they come to ISKCON temples, which are so opulent, right? When they enter, they say, wow, such a big temple, and everybody is so happy. They're dancing, they are like in a pompous mood, wearing nice dresses. They think, oh, okay, even I can be like them. I can also have the same opulence. So let me join them. They don't know that everybody is having other challenges. So sometimes they get misled by that also.
Yeah, well, at least they see a lot of happy people. That is the good part. Because most of the other happiness is either physical or mental. Physical means, okay, tasting a gulab jamun, right? How much happiness you get? Only for 2 minutes. Mental happiness means maybe you achieve something, maybe for a day or a half day. It's only devotion service which really satisfies the heart. You serve a advanced devotee, you hear a lecture from him, you get an instruction from him. Those are all very deep moments. And when you chant with full attention and heart, you get tears in your eyes. Those are the real happiness. Those are not possible in anywhere else. You hear Krishna's you hear Krishna Katha and how Lord is loving to devotees. It melts your heart. Just melts your heart. Understanding how Krishna is merciful upon his devotees, what is he willing to do for the devotee. So, in spite of being the Supreme Lord. So when we hear all of that, it really touches the heart. It really transforms you to be a true human being. Right? So that is true happiness in life. Everything else, all these guys, Krishna, as soon as I came to Krishna, my life, became more troublesome. That is all like unnecessary complaints. Once somebody dives deep into Krishna consciousness, it's Anandambudi Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadam. Every minute, every moment is Purna Amrita Aswadam. Means it's sweet nectar. Every moment you live in a Krishna conscious spirit, right? Ananda Ambudi means it's an ocean of mercy. Happiness, right? So that is the happiness we are working towards as part of, in our journey towards in Krishna consciousness. There is nothing compared to it. People take time to realize. That is okay.
Thank you, brother.
Kechit Vikalpa Vasana.
Kechit
Vasana.
Ahur Atmanam Atmana.
Atmanaha.
Daivam Anye Pare Karma.
Daivam Anye Pare Karma.
Swabhavam Apare Prabhum.
Swabhavam Pare Prabhu.
Some of the philosophers who deny all sorts of duality declare that one's own self is responsible for his personal happiness and distress. Others say that superhuman powers are responsible, while yet others say that activity is responsible, and the gross materialists maintain that nature is the ultimate cause.
So Dharma was saying these are the various reasons people give on why somebody is suffering. So this is the impersonalists. They say, the Atman is the responsible, or the self is the responsible for one's own happiness and distress. And others say, it is actually the divine beings, the demigods, the higher powers who are responsible for our suffering. It's also partially right, like the Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, Adibhautika clashes are there. And then while yet others say activities, this is karma mimamsa. And then materialistic people say, nature is the cause. Because they can't see anything beyond the material nature. So these are various reasons various philosophers, so Prabhupada actually relates to, each of these philosophers, either Gemini or Kannada or like that, Gautama, how they actually interpret these various reasonings for suffering. Apratarkyad anirdeshyad
Anirdesyat.
itikeshvapi nischaya
Itikeshvapi Nishaya.
Atranurupam rajarshe
Atranurupam Rajarshi.
Vishaswa manishaya. Please read.
There are also some thinkers who believe that no one can ascertain the cause of distress by argumentation, nor know it by imagination, nor express it by words. O sage among kings, judge for yourself by thinking over all this with your own intelligence.
See, the bull is actually, her 3 legs are cut. And especially when somebody is suffering, can he talk like this? It's very difficult. So Parikshit Maharaj understands this is not an ordinary bull. It's an extraordinary bull. So he's actually, ultimately, he talked about various philosophies. He just asked, who, if somebody beats you and anybody asks you who bet you, you will immediately say this person bet me, right? Dharma is not giving a straightforward answer like that. The perpetrator is right before her eyes, and Parikshit Maharaj was expecting, hey, he's the person who bet me. No, he's not giving any of that. He's just deeply philosophical, and he says various reasons that various philosophers give. He was expressing in other terms as well. Like here, cannot be expressed by words, and you cannot know by imagination. So he finally gives, okay, you decide who is the cause of my suffering. I don't know. There are various opinions and design. I don't want to. He ultimately doesn't blame anybody. That's the main point, right? For any suffering, a great person or a devotee, they never blame anybody else for their suffering. That's what exactly Dharma is doing here. Even Vaishnavas do the same. Prabhupada explains that here. Please read.
The Vaishnavites, the devotees of the Lord, do believe, as above explained, that nothing can take place without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. He is the Supreme Director, for he confirms in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15 that he, as all-pervading Paramatma, stays in everyone's heart and keeps vigilance over all actions and weaknesses with all activities.
Yeah, Lord as the indwelling Paramatma, he is the one who sanctions everything. So without his sanction, nothing happens. So devotees accept that it is for their good, that whatever happened in their life. Prabhupada gives various examples.
Therefore, the Paramatma feature, the Supreme Soul, is actually the witness of all activities of the living being. And only by his direction can the living being remember or forget what he might have done in the past. He is therefore both the all-pervading impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma in everyone's heart. He is the knower of all past, present, and future, and nothing can be concealed from him. The devotees know this truth, and therefore they discharge their duties sincerely without being overly anxious for rewards.
So devotees know this very well. So they discharge their duties without overly anxious for rewards. They're not worried about the fruits. They're just focused on the duties, especially towards the responsible towards Lord, right? There is Paradharma and Aparadharma, right? Which are immediate duties within this world. Everybody has duties, vertical duties and horizontal duties. Horizontal duties means for living in this world, you have certain duties as a father, mother, as an employee, as a citizen, as a taxpayer. We all have those responsibilities. We fulfill that. That is horizontal. And also there is vertical responsibility. We are all also responsible, spiritually to the Supreme Lord, right? as his child. Right? So one should engage in both. So devotee is engaged in that way. He's never, he never blames any. He just accepts whatever comes as Lord's will and performs his duties.
Yeah, fantastic, Prabhu. So what you just mentioned about the horizontal and the vertical responsibilities, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Prabhu.
Yeah, please read, Mataji.
The conclusion is, therefore, that the sufferings of the representative of religion and the representative of the earth, as present before Maharaj Parikshit, were planned to prove that Maharaja Parikshit was the ideal executive head because he knew well how to give protection to the cows, the earth, and the Brahmanas, religious principles, the two pillars of spiritual advancement.
Hmm. So, so in the olden days, kings were, they were all great devotees, like Maharaj Parikshit. He is the ideal executive head because he was taking care of the religious principles by protecting cows and brahmanas. Because by protecting religion, one is given chance to go back to, or one is given the chance to achieve perfection in life. So that is there. It's not that the king's duties are just to maintain, provide good roads, material facilities, provide drinking water. Of course, our politicians don't even do that properly because of their thing. But the kings like Parikshit Maharaj, they were both physically responsible and also spiritually responsible for their subjects. So they protect cows and brahmanas very carefully, because by doing that, they actually give the spiritual opportunity to praja, because they can help perform yajnas and provide teachings for the rest of the community to spiritually grow. So it is a prime duty of a kshatriya king like Maharaj Parikshit to equally be responsible for the spiritual welfare of the subjects. See the kings, how great those kings were, right? Even like we can see today, it's so degraded. They're all focused on only material facilities, and that too for human beings. They don't care for other animals. So many slaughterhouses are maintained. They don't care for any religion, or they take that word completely from textbooks. No acknowledgement to God. They only say, in God we trust, in the currency notes. That's all. But otherwise, there is no real commitment, no real faith. Yeah. No. Suta Uvacha. Suta Uvacha.
Suta
Evam dharme pravadati.
Evam
Evam pravadati
Sasamrad Vijasattama.
samrata dvijasattama
Samahitena manasa.
mahitena manasa
Kheda paryachastatam.
paryachatitam.
Please read.
Sutta Goswami said, O best among the Brahmanas, the Emperor Parikshit, thus hearing the personality of religion speak, was fully satisfied, and without mistake or regret, he gave his reply.
So he was very satisfied with the answer of the religion, dharma personified, because it's a very philosophical answer. Immediately he replies like this. Rajo Vacha
Rajovacha
Dharmam Bravisi Dharmajna
Dharmam Bravisi Dharmajna
Dharmosi Vrishabrupadrek
Dharmosi Vrisharupadre
Yada Dharma Krita Sthanam
Yada Dharma Krita Sthanam
Uchakashyapi Tad Bhavet.
Shakashyapi Tat Bhavet.
Please read.
The king said, O you who are in the form of a bull, you know the truth of religion, and you are speaking according to the principle that the destination intended for the perpetrator of irreligious acts is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator. You are no other than the personality of religion.
Yeah, because Parikshit Maharaj is himself a great king, a great devotee. He could immediately recognize you are speaking according to the principle that the destination intended for the perpetrator of irreligious acts is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator. So if you blame somebody that you are the person who is causing me suffering, as per what Maharaj Parikshit says here, you are going to get some karma. If you see the point here, I hope so. The destination intended for perpetrator of irreligious acts is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator, right? Because you are identifying only immediate cause and you are blaming that person. So in fact, he is only an instrument in giving the karma, right? So if you blame him, you are in the cycle of birth and death, because you again become angry with him and you try to take revenge. It won't stop by just blaming him. You would try to look for an opportunity to blame. So that would perpetuate one's existence in the material world, because he's blaming that person, right? So you are no other than the personality of religion. That is the conclusion that king comes to. It's a very powerful purport. So I want this to be read. Yeah, please read.
A devotee's conclusion is that no one is directly responsible for being a benefactor or mischief monger without the sanction of the Lord. Therefore, he does not consider anyone to be directly responsible for such action. But in both the cases, he takes it for granted that either benefit or loss is God sent, and thus it is his grace. In case of benefit, no one will deny that it is God sent, but in case of loss or reverses, one becomes doubtful about how the Lord could be so unkind to his devotee as to put him in great difficulty. Jesus Christ was seemingly put into such great difficulty, being crucified by the ignorant, but he was never angry at the mischief mongers. That is the way of accepting a thing, either favorable or unfavorable. Thus, for a devotee, the identifier is equally a sinner, like the mischief monger. By God's grace, the devotee tolerates all reverses. Maharaj Parikshit observed this, and therefore he could understand that the bull was no other than the personality of religion himself.
So one should not, yeah. So that is the way of accepting a thing, either favorable or unfavorable, right? So just like how Jesus Christ, he never blamed the people who were about to kill him. We see in the recent past times, Haridas Thakur, he was beaten in 26 marketplaces, but he never ever complained that those people are punishing him unreasonably. Parikshit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj was thrown into so many things. He didn't complain. He has full shelter of the Lord. So great devotees never consider the immediate cause as the real cause, as the ultimate cause. So either, in both cases, he takes it granted that either benefit or loss is God's sent, and thus it is his grace. It is his grace. It's mercy. We have to be trained in this. It's very easy to say, but to practice is the real challenge. When things are not going well, as per your wish, plan, desire, how to treat that as grace of the Lord? That is real practical Krishna consciousness, right? We study this, it's easy to study, and we think, okay, these great people are great and they can do it. But when it comes to us, it's not that easy, right? So Krishna consciousness is theoretically appears easy, but practically, there is a lot of challenge, right? So we need to nail these lessons in our mindset. Remember, Krishna in all circumstances. And
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is like a live example. I am going to Seattle Children's, one of the neophyte devotee. He just listening to all the lectures and everything. And as you said, those were the exact word he said. I am just new for those Prahlad Maharaj and Gunti Devi and everybody to do that. But for me, I can't do it. And the Lord is merciful, then he should show mercy. He was like, otherwise I will not. He's pushing us away. So that was his exact words.
It's not easy. I'm saying, like, it's not at all easy. And that requires, a lot of patience and faith. And also we need to help as devotees, when others are suffering. We can't take away their suffering. We can't take their suffering to us from them. But at least we should support morally, mentally, emotionally, so that they get at least some shelter until things will improve.
So
So
true.
a lot of people don't do that, and that is one missing piece in the material world. People run away from challenges. They don't want to see others suffering because they also have to suffer by seeing others suffering. So we have to see how we can help in these circumstances. Especially, difficult times is the time when we need to help each other. We need to shoulder each other. Easy times, good times are all, whether you're there or not doesn't make much difference. But when a devotee, fellow devotee is in, challenging, everybody goes through that. It's not like, one person is having a good time. All material world, no escape. Everybody will have, thing is, we need to first also openly ask. A lot of devotees don't even express their suffering with other fellow devotees. If you ask, there is always help. God is, a lot of things get done by asking openly. Of course, we have to ask somebody who is mature enough to help, who has the heart to help. But it's one thing, we can all try in our own life, like should be able to open our heart with at least a few devotees, at least a couple of devotees. And when you ask, there is always help. God will send, because you're explicitly taking shelter of a devotee, right? And you will be surprised how much help you get. A lot of times we just suffer we expect others to understand us and come to us and, give us sympathy and all, but it doesn't work like that. People are in their own suffering, in their own world. And when your problem is serious enough and, you need some advice, if you go and ask, God will speak through them. God will work through them to, because you have opened up yourself to receive the mercy. So we should be open.
So Prabhuji, there was also one example to share. I don't know whether this relates, but this relates to the how great devotees going through so much pain also surrenders to God completely. There is one saint in Vrindavan called Premanand Baba. He doesn't have kidneys since last 26 or some 30 years. Means both kidneys are not functioning. And then he's completely dependent on Radharani. Now he does dialysis also, but after dialysis, he wakes up, he's charged up saying, okay, this is the moment I have for my Radharani, and I'm just devoting completely. He forgets everything else. And then again, he's helpless. He will take little treatment. He again gets up because I'm fully dependent on Radharani because she's the one, she's getting me going. So I don't have any other choice but to surrender to her completely. So by willingly, by heart, now it became a complete love. So it's just how the saint is giving example of even the bad times, how they are surrendering completely through the heart and mind and body.
That's true. Premanand Baba is a great saint living within us right now at this point. I'm very, very inspired by him, by the way. I hear almost every day.
Oh, nice.
I'm like
super inspiration. Yes.
He's my great inspiration, by the way. Premanand Baba. He speaks in Hindi.
Yes, he speaks.
Every word he speaks is such great inspiration.
Yes.
Not, in Gaudiya Sampradaya, he's in Harivamsha Sampradaya, but
yes. Harivallabh. Yeah.
Harivallabh Sampradaya, but a lot of sannyasis from ISKCON go there often to just get some inspiration, because he's a real pure saint, I would say, on earth right now. You can hear him, it'll be very inspiring, very inspiring.
Prabhuji, I want to add one thing regarding the previous slokam. So there are two things. One is like reasonless mercy and mercy with the reason. So when we get all good things, that is mercy, like reasonless mercy. God is just giving. And then when he gives suffering, it's with a reason for us to correct ourselves. So I read it somewhere, so just want to
Yeah,
bring
that's
it.
the point. When you are suffering, actually it is for your own improvement. If things are going the way you are doing, actually suffering helps you learn. We learn a lot more when we go through suffering. Correct or not? Agree?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, really great teacher. Pain is the greatest teacher. Challenges are the greatest teachers in life. Otherwise, there is no growth. If whatever you do is the perfect thing, then what is the point? You think, whatever I am is the best. I don't need to push or pull myself to do anything better. So take every experience as a learning experience. Universe is a university. And everything you go through is a lesson to improve yourself. That's how universe is a university, and
Amazing. Yes,
you're
Prabhu.
an everyday learner, right?
Nice, nice. Very well said.
Yeah. Atava deva mayaya
Athava deva maya
nunam gatiragochara
nunam gatiragochara
chetaso vachachaschaspi chapi
so vachasasasti
tanam iti nischaya. Please read.
Thus, it is concluded that Lord's energies are inconceivable. No one can estimate them by mental speculation or by word jugglery.
Yeah, so Lord's energies are inconceivable. Yeah, we all understand that. Lord has so many energies, material and spiritual energies. No one can estimate them, or because we are all limited beings. So these are the words of King. Right? So he identifies this and accepts that Lord's energies are inconceivable. Yeah, please read.
The material energy is always provoking doubts about the supreme authority of the Lord. The personality of religion knew perfectly well that nothing can take place without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, and still he was put into doubts by the deluding energy, and thus he refrained from mentioning the supreme cause. The whole, sorry, Prabhuji.
In the above reasonings he gave, maybe superpowers, or maybe various reasons he gave. 4 reasons he gave. None of them includes actually the Supreme Lord as a supreme cause. That's why Parikshit Maharaj mentions this. Yeah, go ahead. Oops.
The whole atmosphere of the age of Kali is magnified by the deluding energy, and the proportion of measurement is inexplicable.
So he's actually talking about the context of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga also, you cannot ascertain any reasoning for suffering easily, because there are so many opinions, so many arguments. Kali Yuga is all full of these things. That's why Dharma is speaking like that, representing Kali. Even though he spoke very intelligently, as if there is no direct cause and all, but he was also representing the time of Kali, where there is so much confusion. Tapa saucham daya satyam
Tapaha saucham
Satyam
dipada krite krita adharmam sais trayo bhagna maya sangha madaistava. Yeah, please read.
In the age of Satya, truthfulness, your 4 legs were established by the 4 principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But it appears that 3 of your legs are broken due to rampant irreligion in the form of pride, lust for women, and intoxication.
So in the age of Satyuga, all the 4 legs were established. What are the 4 legs? Tapa, Saucham, Daya, and Satyam. The first 4 words of this verse. Tapa, Saucham, Daya, Satyam. But they were broken. The Tapa was broken by Smaya or pride. One cannot perform austerity if he is proud. And Saucham, the cleanliness. Cleanliness is broken by associating with opposite sex, Sangha. Saucham is broken by Sangha. Daya, mercy. Mercy is broken by intoxication. If one is very much intoxicated, he will be merciless. He will not have any kindness. So these 3 legs are broken. Tapa, Saucham, Daya. And what is left is just Satyam. And Kali Yuga is actually in the process of breaking Satyam. Right? So in Kali Yuga, only one leg.
4th leg will be destroyed.
Hmm?
The only Satyam is there, Prabhu? Kali Yuga?
Oh, only Satyam. Truthfulness is there.
But I don't see.
Yeah, it's so much corruption, people are not. Yeah, people are working towards breaking that. That's the is. Yeah. Please read.
The deluding energy or material nature can act upon the living beings proportionately in terms of the living beings falling prey to the deluding attraction of Maya. Moths are captivated by the glaring brightness of light, and thus they become prey to the fire. Similarly, the deluding energy is always captivating the conditioned souls to become prey to the fire of delusion. And the Vedic scriptures warn the conditioned souls not to become prey to delusion, but to get rid of it.
So material energy always dilutes us and breaks these things, these 3 legs of dharma: Satyam, austerity, cleanliness, and mercy, and also truthfulness. So Kali Yuga, people are all deluded by material energy, and so they break all these principles. Please read. Can you read?
I was in mute. The Lord himself also warns that the deluding power of the material energy is too powerful to overcome. But one who completely surrenders unto the Lord can easily do so. But to surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is also not very easy. Such surrender is possible by persons of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. These 4 principles of advanced civilization were remarkable features in the age of Satya. In that age, every human being was practically a qualified Brahmana of the highest order.
If we want to reduce the influence of illusion in our own life, we need to practice these 4 things: austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. So these can be practiced by the 4 prohibitions in ISKCON that we follow, right? Meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit sex. These 4, if you follow these 4 don'ts, if you follow, you actually are living in Satya Yuga. And on top of it, if you chant the holy name, that is the best process for achieving perfection in life. Follow the 4 regulative principles, chant the holy name. Kali Yuga's energy or influence is not there on your life for sure, 100%. Because Kali Yuga means Kali actually resides in these places where these 4 are broken. So by protecting yourself, by that is the reason Prabhupada gave these 4 regulative principles. It's difficult to surrender to Lord. If you can surrender, even that also protects you from the influence of the material deluding energy. But before that, if you just follow these 4 regulative principles, you basically are not influenced by illusory energy of the Lord, right? Because you are not breaking these 4 legs of Dharma.
Prabhuji, one question. So, like with this one, like whenever like there is devotees, so does it mean like the Dharma's 4 legs still established there?
Yes, when devotees are practicing sincerely Krishna consciousness, yeah. So in that community, in that particular society, at least the Kali's influence will not be there. That's why devotee communities are very conducive environments to practice Krishna consciousness. Is the best people to be around with, because there is respect for these 4 principles.
Right, and that will be still living in Satyuga.
Yeah, it's as good as living in Satyuga. In fact, whatever period we are going through, the 10,000 years of the beginning of Kali Yuga is called Yuga Sandhya. Okay, so Yuga Sandhya means the period between 2 ages, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. There is a period, right? So the period, the junction of the 2 ages are 10,000 for the first 10,000 years of Kali Yuga is actually as good as Satya Yuga. So that is why the Krishna conscious movement will be there for 10,000 years. Prabhupada said it started 500 years ago. It will be there for next 10,000 years until the Yuga Sandhya period. And this is considered the golden age, or the Satya Yuga. It's even better than Satya Yuga, because holy name is not even available in Satya Yuga. So it's the best period to live, and the best method to practice is chanting, right? So we have a great opportunity now. This is the opportunity time. Yuga Sandhyas are generally all good, like between any 2 yugas is generally good. Especially this yuga is especially favored because in which the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna both happened in this period. The original Supreme Lord. Generally, in every, so Lord comes once in a day of Brahma, and that is, out of his, 1,000 cycles in the day of Brahma, there is just one such incident. So it's a very, like other times, Vasudeva, Krishna comes. It's not the same. And Lord Chaitanya also comes immediately after Lord Krishna, right? So it's a very special period.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a very unique time we are in right now, actually. So we should make the best use of this.
So this is the best time in billions of years, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
But there is a 4 billion.
Chatur Yugas means 1,000 multiplied by 16 lakhs.
4.32 billion years.
So it's a very unique period.
Yes. Okay.
Lord Krishna comes only once a day in Brahma's, once a day, 1,000 cycles, 1,004 times.
After every 8.64 billion years.
Yeah, it's a long time. But yeah, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord. I mean, there is Chaturvyuha Vasudeva Krishna who comes every once every millennia, in every cycle. That is different, and he will not give the teachings that Krishna gave, right? So the pastimes of gopis, these are all unique.
Oh, that won't happen in every Chatur Yuga. Oh.
Yeah, it won't happen as per our scriptures.
This is the unique.
Unique, yeah. So because Vasudeva Krishna, the primary mode of worship is still Aishwarya Bhava.
Aishwarya. Dwarka Krishna.
Dwarka Krishna, Aishwarya Bhava. Just like Lord Ram, Lord Ram is a great hero, but he never performed any sweet pastimes. Krishna's pastimes are extremely unique. The kind of love he showed to his mother, his friends, his devotee gopis. Extremely unique pastimes. So many pastimes. We don't hear so many childhood pastimes of Rama or Narsimha or any other incarnation. He's a very, very unique, like so many hundreds of pastimes.
Yes, bro. Madhurya Leela is only happens here with Krishna himself.
And so many stories around Radharani. We don't hear like that about Sita Thakurani or Lakshmi Devi, or we just worship them. We are not even qualified to talk about them.
Yes.
Just worship, bow down and worship. That's all you do. And that is the only teaching all the other acharyas gave. Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, only worship in Aishwarya Bhava.
Oh,
So
okay.
only Lord Chaitanya gave this deep
Maharaj.
teaching.
Amazing. So it's super unique opportunity. If we miss it, we are.
Yeah.
we
You have to
don't.
take one more, birth in another day of Brahma.
How many 8.4 million species we have to go through? It's so terrible.
Yeah. Please read.
If the leaders and the rich men of the society spend 50% of their accumulated wealth mercifully for the misled mass of people and educate them in the God consciousness, the knowledge of Bhagavatam, certainly the age of Kali will be defeated in its attempt to entrap the conditioned souls. We must always remember that false pride or too high an estimation of one's own value of life, undue attachment to women or association with them, and the intoxication will divert human civilization from the path of peace.
So Bhagavatam is the hope to not be influenced by the evil effects of age of Kali.
Wow.
So Bhagavatam, so that is the reason we should try to share the knowledge of Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam together like we are doing now.
Yes.
It will really help not be influenced by the evil effects of Kali Yuga on us. Individually, will be protected by Bhagavatam.
Amazing, Prabhuji. This is the golden statement.
Yep. Idanim dharma padaste.
Idanim dharma padaste.
Satyam nirvataye jyata.
Satyam
Vigrakshati adharmoyam. Brite naidhita kali.
Nrute
Please read, Prabhu.
You are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or the other hobbling along. But quarrel personified Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg.
Yeah, so that is what Kali is doing, trying to destroy the last leg. He's not leaving that, karma to stand on its last leg.
Yes. The principles of religion do not stand on some dogmas or man-made formulas, but they stand on four primary regulative observances, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The mass of the people must be taught to practice these principles from childhood. Austerity means to accept voluntarily things which may not be very comfortable for body, but are conducive for spiritual realization. For example, fasting.
Fasting. So Prabhupada explains, how you can perform each of these. Austerity, you can perform voluntarily. What austerity means? Voluntarily taking some uncomfortable position, right? Like performing fasting, and chanting more, These are all voluntary austerity. If you perform voluntary austerity, Krishna will take away the suffering that you have to endure through, through negative means.
Waking up early, Prabhuji. Is
Yeah,
also
waking up early is also a thing. Waking up early and chanting the holy name, all these, and performing fasting, taking a bath early in the morning, and visiting holy places. All these are all holy austerities. Even charity, giving charity. Giving money for a householder is like giving your blood.
yes, yes.
That's how people think. Yeah? So that is also austerity. So cleanliness means both physical as well as mainly mental cleanliness. Mental cleanliness by chanting the holy name, right? So one has to chant the holy name to clean his mind every single day. Right? Cheto darpana marjanam, bhava mahadavagni nirvapan. Every day one should chant the holy name to clean the mind. Mercy. How one can achieve mercy?
By helping others.
By helping others, yes.
Jivadaya.
Jivadaya is performed by sharing Krishna consciousness. And that is the real mercy. Being merciful upon others.
Yes.
We should all, that's the reason we, share the knowledge, share books, share prasadam. All of these will help. And then truthfulness. One has to attempt to be always truthful in all situations possible. Right? So if you follow these four things, Kali will not affect you. That is the main point. Okay. Wherever these four are not there, there will be influence of Kali. Yeah, so this is, we already discussed. Okay, this is the last sloka for the day. Iyam cha bhumir bhagavata.
Iyam cha bhumir bhagavata.
Nyashitoru bharasate.
Nyasito
Shitoru
Srimad tat pada anyasai. Sarvata krita kautuka.
Sarvata.
Please read. Anyone?
The burden of the earth was certainly diminished by the personality of Godhead and by others as well. When he was present as an incarnation, all God was performed because of his auspicious footprints.
Yeah, because Earth was receiving direct footprints of the Lord when Lord was roaming around on the Earth planet. Earth was the most fortunate. Yeah, please read this translation. This is the last one.
Now she, the chaste one, being unfortunately forsaken by the personality of Godhead, lament her future with tears in her eyes. For now she is being ruled and enjoyed by lower class men who pose as rulers.
Now bereft of Lord left the planet after his performing his pastimes. Now Lord is not there, so Mother Earth is missing, and so she is lamenting, being ruled by very bad rulers on Earth planet. So Prabhupada explains that, in the Kali Yuga, there will be people who are not trained spiritually. They start becoming the rulers, just like we all know the politicians today. They don't have any sense of spiritual life, right? They cannot protect themselves. They cannot protect anybody else. They allow a religion in the form of slaughterhouses. And yeah, so that is why mass people are suffering in this world right now. So Mother Earth is also suffering because of these bad rulers. So Prabhupada, and in the absence of a suitable king to curb irreligious tendencies, educating the people systematically in the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam will clear up the hazy atmosphere of corruption, bribery, blackmail. So if you want to do good to anybody, the best way is to, make them study Bhagavatam. That is the best way to help anybody in this world. Because that will take away the influence of Kali on them, and they really, understand the purpose of life and achieve perfection.
So, Prabhu, there are people who study Bhagavatam for their own benefits, and they do the like they acquire money by telling Bhagavatam. Now, the corruption and bribery, they are doing it by learning Bhagavatam. So, how does that differ? I know in ISKCON we consciously study and apply those principles, but how do we say that systematically teaching of Bhagavatam?
I mean, one should do as a service, then only this, whatever we said, will be effective. Just like the way Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami gave, without any expectation. He was there only to help the king, right? That is the only motivation. He was not expecting position, name, fame, or anything, just like that. So one should do the same way. Then only it will have its effect. If somebody does it for business purpose, it doesn't help. It doesn't even help the people who are hearing, because they won't be inspired in the right way if the teacher is not doing the right justice to the subject.
Got it.
Yeah. So Kali Yuga means all sorts of varieties will be there, unfortunately. That is the
too many varieties to religion.
Yeah. Everywhere there is corruption, including in teaching Bhagavatam.
Yes, so that's a pain point. Yes.
Yeah. So almost 9, 1.5 hours. I'm sorry, it might be late for some of you. Thank you all for joining today. We'll continue next week. If you have any questions, we can discuss now. Otherwise, we can end the class. I think we discussed a lot of questions during the class. That's good. Okay, if nothing else, I'll just take the attendance quickly. 1 second. Anandram Prabhu is not there. Daviradka Mata is not there, right? Kastu Prabhu is there. Rani Mataji, not there. Sita Priti Mataji, not there. Priti Mataji. Kalindi Priti Mataji is not there. Chandana Mataji is there. Nitin Prabhu. Sri Vidya. Jai Shri Mataji, not there. Chaitanya Prabhu. Sham Prabhu is there. Sujata Radhika Mataji is there, Prabhu? No, right? Sakhi Priya Mataji, Navadvip Prabhu. Pran Sakhi Mataji. Sridhar Gopal. Sarana Prabhu will not be there. Shivacharan Prabhu is there. Anupama Mataji is there? No, Dhanushri Mataji is there. I hope I covered everyone. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you.